Alright, so educational training session for manly fighting games. So,
with Gordon and myself.
yes, Gordon and
course.
Philip present. Alright, can you guys tell me what the goal of a fighting game is?
To get that W.
To get that W? Okay,
I'll let Philip answer this first. Actually.
Oh, no, Gordon.
It's a.
Okay,
everyone's
so
in it on this.
The goal should be. It's not. Well, I guess KOing the other guy is the goal, but the goal is to outlast.
That's the end goal.
To outlast your opponent.
Okay, well, more specifically, you need to reduce your opponent's HP before they can reduce yours, right?
Right.
That's the basics of it. And, you can compare it to like a business, A business, to make money, what do they need to do? They need to make more sales or cut their expenses, right? Mm-hmm. So the fighting game is the same exact thing. You need to do as much damage as you can, but minimize how much damage that you take, right? So, in fighting games, I think the defensive part is more important. Like
right.
being able to,
definitely.
Yeah, reducing the amount of damage you can take, because your offense, like, it won't be universal to every player. Mm-hmm. There could be a player with really good defense, it's just gonna take longer to beat them.
Right.
But in your defense, if you have good defense, that's universal across the board.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll start with start with the offense part, or in other words, being optimal, right?
Right.
So there's a misconception that being optimal is like having the max damage output in a combo, right? This misconception shared by people like Gordon. Right? So really though, at least for KoF, like meter usage, it has to be obviously it has to be efficient.
Yeah, definitely right? For KoF, since it's a team-based game, you're not only using one character, you're using 3 characters, and depending on the position, you get a different amount of bars. So it's just depends on then you really have to take that into consideration.
Exactly, and
also,
go ahead.
Also in this version, if you lose, you also get 1 bar. So kind of have to take that.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
Well. That's a great point. And in KoF, no matter what bar you use, whether it's 1 or 2 bars, the damage will be there. Your combo just has to not suck.
Yes.
And then no matter whether it's light confirms or heavy confirms, the damage is gonna be there. So, being optimal doesn't mean like saving the bar for a fucking 2-bar combo. You just get the damage when you can.
Right.
It doesn't.
In this game, I would say you build meter relatively quickly.
Yeah, definitely. So. And the second important thing when it comes to offense is that you need to keep them in the corner, right? Because you keep them in the corner, their options become more limited, and my options become more expanded. So in other words, it means that they become more predictable, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have them in the corner, they're gonna have a higher tendency to roll, higher tendency to wake up DP or to jump
out.
Exactly. So you have all the advantage. You can trick guard them, you just wait for them to do a DP, you roll punish them, things like that. But how do you keep them in the corner? Because it's easier said than done, right? So when you have them against the corner, just be satisfied with pokes. Don't really worry about getting a combo setup and getting a corner combo. Don't worry about getting a full combo. Right? Just be satisfied with pokes, annoying them, getting hits every now and then, because that's gonna make them even more annoyed.
Right. That'll basically lead them to crack under pressure.
Yeah.
Then obviously that's when you take full advantage.
Yeah.
Get a full combo.
Exactly.
Get a full combo or full corner combo. I should say.
Exactly. Another thing you could do is if they finally get the offense, use a guard cancel blowback to keep them in the corner, right? Because if I use a guard cancel blowback in the corner, I'm gonna walk up and be able to meet them before they can recover if they're in the corner. Yeah. But if I'm full screen and I use this, then I just get more breathing space. That's it. So that's an offensive kind of guard cancel blowback. That's one way you can keep the corner. It doesn't always have to be you moving forward and pressing buttons and things like that. All right, and
basically different options with the in-game mechanics that KoF have.
Yeah, basically.
It's not just a defensive option, you can also use it offensively.
Exactly, Phil. Alright, and then a lot of the things when I tell people how to play and stuff, a lot of it is kind of what you shouldn't be doing. Because that's kind of process of elimination. Because if I tell you what to do, then you're going to be kind of single-mindedly following those things. Yeah. But if I tell you what not to do, Like, you just do whatever you want, but avoid those certain things. So when it comes to offense, one of the things you shouldn't do is ending your block strings with a special 100% of the time. Because you can get this, you want to confirm, and then you'll get it on block, and you'll still do it, right? But then here's the thing, if you use this Verpukin, right, after that block string, you're negative. That means it's their turn to act, which means you can't press a button. If you try to press something, you're gonna get hit. You know. On the other hand, if they block it and they have a bar, they'll guard cancel roll the block string, and then you're in the corner and you get full punished. You know. So just by doing something as simple as this, it can get you punished on block. So a better thing to do is just end your strings with lights, right? Because if you do this, you could just hop in right after. You know, they don't know if you're gonna hop in 100% of the time. Maybe you could be standing there doing a blowback. You know, maybe you could just doing like a sweep after a delayed string. You know,
that just kind of goes back to you have to mix up your pressure strings.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, it's all part of mixing up your pressure strings.
Obviously, the best way is with lights, just because you have a lot more less recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of mix things up a little easier.
Yeah, but Phil was saying, like, the end of strings with lights, it's harder for him to react. There's nothing to react to. You know.
Exactly.
It's just a void. You know.
The problem here is if you keep doing the same string, then they'll obviously stiff it out.
Yeah. Exactly. And then another thing, when you're on offense, another thing you shouldn't do is don't let the urgency of getting a combo dictate your gameplay. Right? Oftentimes I see some footage and stuff and someone's trying to, like, all they're worrying about is getting a jump in and then getting a full combo. But then, like, when you're doing that, you leave yourself open to a lot of predictable patterns. Like, for example, what if you resort to jump in, overhead, you know? So they can beat you out of there if they can react to it. So just like I said before, just be satisfied with pokes and hits and everything. If you get a jump in, then just confirm off of it, but don't let the urgency of getting attacked be your entire gameplay. There's more to offense than getting a combo. You could just hit them, and that's it. And then
slowly kind of like dwindle them down.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. It's like with pokes. I mean, kind of establishing your space. Eventually, and then just annoying the opponent.
Yes.
I mean, eventually, once you see that confirm,
go for it.
Yeah, then that's when you go for it. Especially now with the patch for the quick maxes, like they run a lot faster, and so it's easier to get good capitalize up with just with one bar. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So for the defensive part, you need to use a lot of guard cancel rolls, like anybody. So, for example, I have the CPU. CPU doing this, right? So any block string, especially when it comes to fireball frame trap setups, right? Always use guard cancel roll. It's punishable, and no matter what character you're facing, it doesn't matter if it's Kukri or Athena or Kenzo. You just guard cancel roll, and then any fireball character, and it's a full punish. So that's something a lot of players kind of like, keep in mind. It does cost a bar, but then like you turn the situation around.
Exactly.
And anti-airs is really important. You gotta always be ready to. You don't have to be ready 100% of the time to anti-air, but if you do decide to anti-air, you should do it with normals 100% of the time.
Yes.
Because if you use a DP, right? See that button, it works perfectly fine. What's wrong with it, right? Because if I use a reversal, I have to reach a certain like DP zone, right? The DP zone is right here. Like, for example, they have to be in their zone. Like when they land, the invincibility has to beat them out, and my DP or reversal has to connect with them, right? There could be a scenario where my invincibility works, but then it whiffs completely. So, for example, in this situation, right, the distance is a little bit different, right? If I have the invincibility, but it whiffs completely, right? On the other hand, maybe it will connect, but then the invincibility won't be there, right? So in this case right here, I have to anti-air him, but then he's pressing a button really early in the air. So even though my A Rising Tackle has invincibility, like, it's not immediate. Like, well, it is immediate, but it doesn't last as long as, you go up. Right. So the DP zone is very narrow in this game, right? It's very small, and it's very difficult to cleanly do it 100% of the time in KoF. In Street Fighter, it's easy to do because every character has one single jump arc, Right? They don't have hops or anything. You just stay at a certain distance versus a certain character, and as long as they jump, your DP will always connect. It doesn't matter. KoF, characters have 4 different jump arcs. It could be a hop, hyper jump, or regular jump, you know? So, there's no reason to do a reversal at all. And especially with characters that have a forward moving DP, like Kula, or Kyo, or Ioi, it's even easier for characters to jump over it. Like 100% of the time, if you're on the corner, you wake up the DP and I'm jumping in on you, your DP, it's going to move you out of the corner and move me into the corner. It's going to completely whiff. So, there's really no point to doing a reversal with DPs. Alright, you had anything to add?
This kind of goes back to like when I'm picking up a character. That's why I like to just test out all their normals, figure out where they're good at. You know?
Yeah.
Like, every character has a normal that could anti-air, so...
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one of the basic tenets you need to know about.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah.
And like, when that's kind of what I do most of my gameplay anyways. I never really go for any sort of DPs, or rarely I do, you know?
Exactly.
So...
Alright, now one thing. If you're blocking a jump in, you should always be teching. Now this is something Philip does very well, right?
Thank you.
Right? So there's like several different outcomes, but I want to take it a little further, right? So when they jump in, like when you block a jump in, time it so that you're pressing back C or D, preferably D if you're in a corner, in such a way that if they hit you with the jump in and it's timed the way it should be, then you'll tech them. It doesn't matter if they hit you or you block. If their jump in is too shallow, you're gonna grab them, right? But if they hit you and the depth is going to be an advantage for them, then go immediately into crouch block and then mash A. Alright? So I'm going to do this for 5 different outcomes. Alright? And we're going to see how many of it.
Interesting. Mashing A.
Yeah. So back C, mashing A. Right? So I'm blocking because this is a true block string. Nothing's going to happen. So let's try with a different outcome. Okay? So a lot of the common setups that people do is jump in overhead. Right? And that catches... It's a surprising old school trick and it works, but then if you're mashing A, that time I wasn't mashing right. Or you can just time it. You don't have to mash it like me. If you can't time it, mash it. But if you're able to time it, you can do that, you know? So, this is not a true setup for any character. Jumping into overhead.
That's never a true setup for any game, I don't think.
Yeah, for any game it's not true. It might be true if they use a blowback, but it has to hit deep. And the problem with that is that when you hit the blowback, it has a lot more pushback. So then the overhead is going to be even harder to reach you. So you're not going to see a lot of people do a blowback into overhead, right? But yeah, so that always works, right? And the same option works for in this scenario. So a lot of things that people do is they jump in, crouching short, crouching jab, run up, crouching short, crouching jab to catch you, kind of like not crouching blocking, you know? But then
trying to stagger there.
Exactly, trying to do a little stagger. But then no stagger is true if you do that, right? So that beats out 2 options already, right? Now let's test out another option. So that option right here, he's kind of walking up doing a tick grab, right? So if he's trying to tick grab me, he won't be able to grab me because he has to wait a certain amount of time before my block stun wears off. Right? So that's why his close C is delayed, which is why I can beat him out of it. Alright, now there is a way to beat this kind of little option. Right? So let me show you. So you see what happened there? What's different about this?
The shorts are delayed.
Yeah.
So by the time, if you're mashing, you'll get hit because there's a normal already in your face.
Exactly.
Right before you're punching for that.
Right, so I'm teching. Oops. So I'm teching, doing my crouch block option, but then I get hit because my jab's coming out. But then the dummy timed it in such a way where I can't tech him. Right, my tech's not gonna come out. My mashing button's not gonna work. So this is only the way to kind of beat it. It's kind of like a little delayed, but this is very difficult to do because the player has to deliberately do it. They have to know that you're doing this, right? And they have to be good at actually doing what's happening right now. See, even with Rock's crouching C, which comes out in 4 frames, it gets beaten. So, you know, a delayed kind of jumping into shorts is the only way to beat it. But, you know, not a lot of players are going to be doing that 100% of the time. So yeah, man, so just do tech blocking, go into shorts immediately. And I use jabs because it'll be, no, it's not fast, it's just, in Rock's particular case, his overhead has lower body invincibility.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so if I use shorts, it's not going to beat it. It also depends on our characters. Like,
I still find it kind of weird that
it's definitely fucking weird.
That it's overhead.
A sweep can whiff it. Could just go through it.
Yeah, I still find that a little weird. But
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't have to be crouching jab. It could be crouching short. Like most characters, crouching short has more range.
Yeah,
so it's better.
That's why I was asking. Like, this jab has.
Oh yeah.
Is it faster or something?
Nah. Yeah, they're generally the same speed. Here, I'm just using crouching just to get just because I'm facing against Rock.
Oh,
like for Kula, I'll definitely use crouching B.
Alright, so it's just that character knowledge.
Exactly, yeah. And then, like, it's better to do this because if you want to take it to the next level, right, you should be able to hit confirm off it, like, into a full combo. I mean, you know, it's entirely possible to do that. So there is a conversion off of it if you're able to react to it. So this is something you guys should practice, is this kind of defensive option where you're just mashing C to block high and then going low to, you know, stuff out any other options and mashing a short or a jab. Because honestly they can't. There's no way they could beat it unless they're using maybe Clark or King of Dinosaurs, you know, slow command grab, which has armor. You know, that's one way. But you know, that's only 2 characters in the entire roster. So, yeah,
well, it's kind of good to know. So it's basically like an option select, but then it's not like an option select that they purposely put in, like like what I would say Street Fighter 4 did.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then this is kind of like this is typical fighting game mechanics. If you're in block stun, obviously you're gonna be in block stun.
Yeah.
And if it's not a true block string, then obviously you'll be able to push it.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little knowledge to have.
Yeah, definitely. And then like some characters, there's a different approach. Like if they do multiple hops like this, so the jab won't beat it out because obviously, you know. Well, actually, I guess it's very specific.
Right.
It's very specific.
Generally,
that
wouldn't work.
Yeah. So then, in that case, you would have to go back high, but you have to be reacting to the jump in, obviously. Like for me, I'm going high because I don't feel the shorts, you know. There's like a gap, you know, and then so I'm standing up. But you got to be careful because Rock has down quarter circle back C, so then I can easily get that by accident if I'm doing this. Like I'm trying to match C. Obviously, the jump in is just poorly timed, so it's beating it out. But ordinarily, you know, it wouldn't work that way. So if your character has a close circle back special, then use a different button. Like for Rock, it's a great crouching C. Is just great. It's just the best one. Like for here, I could just turn the situation around too, or do a mix up. You know,
little cross under, but not really.
Exactly. And then what Philip does with Nelson is just go into command normals and then go into overhead. And then with Terry, I'll do command normal into burn knuckle to cross under. So you could, if you want to take it to the next level, depending on what your character is, then you know you could turn it into an offensive, turn your defense into an offense.
That's all about that character knowledge that we're talking about. Just knowing your character, knowing the different options, the different normals, and what they could go into for special camps moves.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, to add on top of what you were saying about, like, if the opponent decides to hop again or something, you just gotta remember that, you know, there's 2 characters on the screen. It's not just yours, so you gotta pay attention to the other character, not just your own character.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective because like I think when you're doing a fighting game, your attention should always be 100% on them.
But then a lot of people just only focus on their own character.
Exactly.
But then, you know, that's the thing. Like, you just gotta remember there's 2 characters. There's 2 characters on the screen, so you know you gotta pay attention to what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, exactly, Phil. Alright, so that's offense and defense. Next up, you need to have this general knowledge, right? So, for example, you start the round against like a character like Iori, right? What do you know immediately?
He has a really good close C, far normals, and like far D normals. Yeah. He has a DP. He has
okay, how can he get a combo on you? What's his available mix-up?
Oh yeah, jump in like close B for low hit or command grab. Over. He has a command overhead as well.
Yeah. Reversal options. He's got CDP.
CDP. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when the round starts, and there's like ready go, right?
Oh yeah.
At that time, you have to know two things, right? First of all, what are the reversal options without bar, right? So a character like Gangnil doesn't have reversal options without bar. So I'm completely okay with going in on him every time on his wake up, every time I get a knockdown, right? For Iori, I have to be a little bit more cautious because he has CTP, right? So, and then for Ramon, he has a instant command grab, So those are things that you have to know right away because it should affect how you're approaching them.
Also, I want to say if the Ramon player is being stupid, they might wake up with a heavy Sobot. What was it called?
The Sobot, yeah.
Yeah, like a heavy Sobot because that goes over lows.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it hits high and goes over lows.
Alright, that's interesting. That's a creative kind of wake up.
Yeah. But that's the thing too. It's kind of that's very risky at the same time. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're using him, that's a new that's another tool for you right there.
I see. Alright. And the other thing when the round starts, besides knowing what the wake up options are, is how they can get in on you. Right? So I'm facing Rock, right? And I know he has an overhead, right? So every time I see the startup animation of his overhead, I need to be able to react to it and just block. I can't make a prediction and be like, oh, he's gonna do an overhead. Because if you do that, you gotta trick yourself into standing up and blocking. Every overhead in this game is reactable, So you just...
It's not super fast or anything.
Exactly. Like, it may seem fast, but that's because to the untrained eye, you're not used to it. So it comes off... So reaction speed is cut down. But if you keep in mind that he has an overhead and that they can use it to go into quick max, your reaction speed to the overhead is going to reduce. It's going to... you have more time to react mentally because you're already prepared for it. So that's a really important thing, is to know the reversal options and the wake up options. It's really important when you're fighting a character that you've never faced before.
Yeah.
All right.
I know their general tools.
Yeah, and something a little bit more advanced. Like some people, I notice a lot in streams and tournaments when they block an overhead, they instead of blocking the overhead, they roll away from it or they jump away from it. Right? I think it's optimal to block the overhead because 100% of the time, if someone's throwing out an overhead into quick max, they're gonna throw out the quick max. They're not gonna be able to react whether or not, oh, should I quick max or not? Right? Most of the time, they're not gonna be able to do it. So when you block the overhead, they go into quick max, right? They're at a disadvantage situation because since they're in quick max mode, they don't have a hit confirm anymore, right? They can't go into a quick max combo, so they have to spend the bar to go into to exit quick max, max mode. I mean, and when they do that, they could become more predictable. So a Terry player, what are they gonna do? EX burn knuckle, right? Or EX power wave,
Or crack shoot.
Yeah, or crack shoot. So when they're in EX mode, they become a little bit more predictable. You can sort of anticipate their moves.
Just because they kind of gave away their little combo options since they're already in it.
Yeah.
They can't confirm into it again.
Exactly. Or they're just desperate to make use of the meter that they...
Yeah, that too.
It's very true for any player.
Yeah. Alright, another important thing is combining reads and reactions, right? Some people think like, you can only have one or the other. No, you need to combine both reads and reactions, right? Yeah. So you need to anticipate multiple outcomes, okay, and be ready for anything, so you can react to any of them. You don't have to react to all the possible outcomes. You just need to be ready for all of them. So your reaction speed, you have more time to react. You're more prepared for it. You're more likely to be able to react to whatever outcome. Right? Because if you expect one outcome and they don't do it, then your reaction speed to whatever other outcome it's gonna be slower. Right? Does that make sense? Like for example, if I have you in a corner, right? My predictions is 4 different outcomes I have in mind, right? So let's say I knock you down. It's a reversal. So I knock you down, and then I need to turn around. So I knock you down. One of the options is that you're crouch blocking, right? You're not doing anything. So okay, my option right now is when I knock you down, I'm gonna run up, do a delayed short, right? If you're crouch blocking or whether you're pressing buttons on wake up, it doesn't matter. If you do nothing, then my short will kind of like will make you block something.
It'll stuff your move.
Yeah, it'll stuff your move. But if you wake up with shorts, I'm gonna be blocking it. Now in the second outcome, I do a delayed short, but because it's delayed, I'm not gonna eat your wake up because you already did a reversal. So I'm gonna get a full punish, right? Now, if I knock you down and you do a roll, then I just have to react to the roll. And it's really easy to do because I knock you down, I do my delayed whiff normal, right? But then I feel it not hitting anything, you know? I should be like, wait a minute, you know, like where's the like hit stun, where's the block stun, right? And then if you train yourself to do this multiple times, right, you should be able to react to roll punishes, even if you throw out a short like this. And then you can just punish them, right? And the last outcome, if I knock you down, you know, you'll just neutral jump. At that time, I don't really have to react to it. You know, I don't have to react to it. I don't have to punish it. I'm not ready for it, but I don't care because you're still in the corner, and I'm not, right? I'll just let you go back to the ground, and then the situation will reset, right? So one of the things you should practice is set the computer to go to reversal, set the different options they have. So I have Rock doing nothing here. For the second option, I have him doing rising tackle. For the third option, I have him rolling forward. And for the fourth option, I have him kind of jumping up. So if I have all 4 of them like this, he's gonna do any one of them at random. You know? And that was by accident. So you need to do this over and over again. You know, do the delayed short so that you can time it that you don't eat their wake up option, right? And then you should be able to react to all the outcomes, right? This is just to help you train your reaction, right? This
and also utilizing the training
room
properly.
Exactly. This is utilizing training mode. You know, a lot of people, they use training mode 100% of the time. It's just to figure out a character and do combos, practice the combo over and over again. But they don't do things like, you know, using the dummy to kind of hone your reactions, right? So, because when I'm playing against you guys, 90% of the time, where are you guys at? Where's your back at? Probably in the corner, right? Right? Because I was talking to Goran the other day. I was like, do you find it hard to get out of the corner against me? And he's like, yes. And it's because of this, you know, because it's the amount of control that I have because I'm able to react to all the outcomes. And if you just do a little bit of training, you can do the same thing easily. You know, it's not something you need years and years of practice of. So yeah, alright. Next up, this character roster of 54 fucking characters, right? So, my recommendation, when you're going to a tournament, we're going to stream, whatever, if you want to win, you need to mark down the characters that you have less experience with or a lot of trouble with, or you feel they're intimidating, right? So like, even if you use the character, you know, once you mark down those characters, you need to head into training mode, and you just use those characters. You don't have to learn how to use the character. You don't need to learn BNBs. You need to just get used to how they move, right? And what their options are. Like, oh, he has an overhead. Like, oh, his wake up option is this, you know? Or like, oh, this like normal or special has a property I should be aware of, right? So, you know, it's just increasing your character awareness. Because a lot of people, they complain like, oh, I don't have a local that uses this character, therefore I'm unprepared for that character. That's not an excuse. Just use that character, and that by itself gives you a great idea how to play against them.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have something to add, Philip? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just kind of like, it's like, yeah, that's true. I mean, I kind of do that myself already.
Yeah. Me and
like,
Philip, I feel like we already do that.
Yeah, like,
you know.
I mean, it's just a good thing to do. I mean, just to expand your character knowledge or awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Because then when you use them, whether to try to figure out how to beat them or if you want to pick them up yourself, it's just, you know, like, you'll know when you use your main character, you play like a legit good one or something, you'll have an idea of the general approach, kind of what some things to look out for, kind of like what you said.
Exactly,
right? So,
exactly. And then,
so yeah, I just really agree on that point.
And exactly, yeah. And if you want to take it to the next step too, like there's a lot of people that don't know how to play against Nakaruru or Mian, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's just like, dude, go into training mode, set Nakaruru as the character, and then for the reversal options, set it to Bird Cling, right? Just set it to Bird Cling, and then see what you could do against it, you know? So that, for example, I knock down Nakaruru. I do, for Geese, for example, I'll do jab, right, on their wake up, and then close C right after, because that's a frame trap. That's a link ordinarily. And then if Nakaruru is using Bird Cling, the jab's gonna whiff, but then the close C is gonna hit. That's my option against Nakaruru. It's not gonna be the same for every single character. That's why you have to go into training mode and kind of train yourself, because a lot of people, they're used to command grabs, they're used to DPs, they're used to other invincible options, but they're not used to a character being in the air.
Yeah.
Right?
And could go up there fucking whenever, like for free.
For free, almost, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, but it's like, it's even after the nerfs, people still have trouble facing against Nakaruru, and even before the nerfs, I'm like, dude, just train yourself to like jump up and fucking hit her out of the air. You know, it's not true. Your meaty on the ground might whiff, but if you're using a light, you have time to jump up and fucking hit her out of the air. You know, people don't know how to do that, right? And all you have to do is go into training mode, set her reversal option, and then practice against it. That's it. And then Mian. So a lot of people have trouble facing Mian, right? Like Reynolds Mian, because he does like he jumps in the air and does her dive kicks for days, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing you could beat if you just simply go into training mode and have the computer just do a program attack of, you know, the air dive kicks. It doesn't have to. You just
series of it.
Yeah, and then you know what? Like you just turn on any stream where Reno is using Mian, and then copy that stream when you're recording your dummy, and then have that do it over and over again so you see how to beat it. Like for example, if I'm facing against his Mian, I'm gonna use Gangyo, okay? And if he does a dive kick, I'm gonna backdash the dive kick, right? Because when he's land, there's recovery, and I'm just gonna use 4D, quick max, go into a full combo. That's a punish right there. Boom, dive kicks are irrelevant now. You know, of course I need bar to use it. And if I don't have bar, then I'll just hit it with a 4D, right? It's still gonna discourage him to do it less, right?
Just because he knows that you're able to react and you know how to properly deal with it.
Exactly, and you guys have experience against my Mian, right? It's basically a better version of Reynolds. Like, it's a simple solution to a simple problem, but a problem that people have not solved.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the problem is they just kind of they just get antsy. They just like try to avoid the dive kicks. They end up just rolling.
Exactly.
But obviously, once you roll, like the situation just resets because you don't have any advantage. The person just recovered from their dive kick. You know, you're back at zero. So
exactly. You know, people are just dumb like that. All right, so that's that's one way you can utilize training mode. Another thing in terms of have knowledge right off the bat is knowledge of frame advantage and block strings, right? You need to practice against them and know how to deal with certain examples. Like for example, like I'm gonna go ahead and record this, right? Oops. Let me go ahead and change it to the standard. So sweep into fireball. You know, any normal into fireball like Kukuris or Athenas, right? You can beat them at max range, right? All you have to do is just hyper hop. So cancel it. Your timing at max range is a little bit difficult to punish because most of the time they can block, right? So let me go ahead and send them to guard all. Okay. So even if Rock has a little bit, I would say above average recovery for a fireball, but he can still recover in that string. But it's possible to, all you have to do is change up the button. Oops. So I'm gonna use jumping B instead. What the hell? Why did it work? Okay. Alright, so all you have to do is just hyper hop. And you'll beat it 100% of the time. This works against Kukri, this works against Athena. Right? But it has to be, the range has to be, the normal has to be kind of far. If they're a little bit closer, like right here, and I try to hyper hop forward, then I'm gonna eat the fireball because I'm not gonna jump in time. Right? So in that case, I'll just neutral jump. That time is really too close. So like for example right here, a forward jump won't Actually, what the fuck? Well, whatever. You get what I mean, though. You get what I mean.
Actually, I want to say that could be applied with any fireball that's not real like a true block string. Anyways.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like the slower fireballs.
Yeah, exactly. So Athena, Kukri, Kenzo.
Maybe Andy from a sweep. Well, all those, I feel like his fireball is a little bit high.
Yeah, his fireball is higher, so it might not work. Roberts too. So
would you say Geese or
Geese?
King?
Definitely Geese. Definitely King.
Any grounded fireballs?
Yeah. Like if there's a character you have trouble against that, and it's because of a fireball frame trap or string, then practice against that. Go into training mode with every character. Do a normal, whatever most popular normal that is, like crouching C for Athena or sweep for Kukri into fireball, and just practice a hop against it. You know. So I just practice this in one night, and then I could just use it universally in every character. So if I go to a tournament and I see people doing that a lot, then they're gonna get a punish for it, And then, so yeah, it's things like that. Other things too, like frame traps, like Antonov's B into forward command grab, or not forward commando into fist, right? So you notice what I've been doing with Kula is just DP through it, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of strings like that for a lot of characters, and that's something you need to practice against. And you also need to know, you have to know every character's plus frame moves, but you need to know like the biggest one, like Rouse crouching B, that's +3 on block.
That's crazy.
Block, that's crazy. So on hit, it's +5. You just add 2 frames for whatever it is on hit. So you can walk up. So like the block string I was talking about earlier, where the character is doing this, like walk up pressure, right? So ordinarily, if you're doing crouch, whatever normal, like crouch mashing to beat them out of it, Ralph will beat you out of it. He has more time to walk up and do the crouching short. So it's things like that that change the situation, So that's like kind of like little tidbits of knowledge that can make a huge difference. Alright, so that's the general gist of it. Next 2 points is execution. So I feel like Philip doesn't really need to listen to this, but definitely the other two, and others. So you need to be able to practice combo from lights and hards, right? And the way I'll do it is I'm gonna practice from light confirms and hard confirms. I'm gonna do it like 10 to 50 times in a row on each side. And for me, I'll take it to the next extreme and do it so that until I get it 50 times in a row, correct? Or 30 times. It doesn't have to be an insane amount. It has to be a good amount. And on each side, right?
I usually try to at least get 3 consistent, like back to back to back.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of noticed this on our friend Wilson. He typically has trouble on one side.
Yeah.
That's true.
So. So typically, like if I'm getting comboed by him on one side, I know for sure he's gonna land it, or vice versa. I know for sure he's gonna drop it. So or not for sure, but maybe there's a chance. There's a good chance he's gonna drop it.
Exactly.
So
and not just left, right side, and whether it's lights or hard confirms, you're gonna need to know from 2-bar combos or 1-bar combos, right? Like for Rock, he has a lot of variations. For a 1-bar combo, I would do this. And then into that, But then for 1 bar, or for 2 bars, I wouldn't do that. But in a corner, it would be different too. Like for example, maybe I want to go for a mix-up, right? So I would be doing this instead of the other one you see me do all the time, right? So whether you're in a corner, mid-screen, you gotta know which combo you gotta do. You can't blink out. Like this has to be automatic, The decision between using 1 bar and 2 bar has to be automatic. You get a hit confirm, you glance at the opponent's HP real quick, you glance at how much resource you have, and then you just make that decision instantly right then and there. Right. It should be completely automatic.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Like you need a 0-bar combo, you need a 1-bar combo, and you need a 2-bar
combo. And you need a 2-bar combo. You don't need anything besides that.
After that, it's just like whether you want to close out the match or something.
Exactly. It's pretty easy to do too. Like if you're using advanced cancel, okay, I'm just gonna super cancel it. The combo doesn't really change much, honestly. So execution wise, that's something you need to keep in mind. And then lastly, meter management. Fuck meter management. It's overrated.
It's overrated.
Right?
It's overrated.
Always spend the bar for the damage unless your character has a terrible 1-bar combo or you're almost close to 2 bars, right? If you're almost close to 2 bars, then fine, go ahead and save it up. If your character has a shitty 1-bar combo like Hein, don't use it.
Yeah.
You know, those are only situations where you don't want to use it. But otherwise, always do it, because 2-bar combos with most characters, how much is it? 45 to 50%,
exactly.
right? So you're almost.
That's a character.
Yeah. So you do it 2 times, you kill a character. A character's at 50%, you kill the character. A character's at 100%, your character's already at. You already evened it up or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and in a high level match, you only get so many hits to land a hit. You know, and each of those hits should convert into something, right?
Yeah.
So Gordon, how hard is it to hit me in a game, in a match?
It's pretty hard.
Right, it's pretty hard.
It's pretty hard.
Right, that's why the HP is always high. That's why in the last sessions, it's like almost an OCV every single time on your ass, right? So if you're the kind of character who's not spending bar, then you gotta be staying behind forever, right?
And that kind of goes for the blowback and the EX roll cancels as well.
Yeah.
Just to like getting yourself out of situations or taking control of the situation.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. I was gonna bring out that point. It's a great point by Philip.
All right.
Right. I was gonna actually. So it's good on Philip that he brought it up, because if you're being stingy and you're not using it in a combo, or you feel like you don't need to use it in a combo, then just use it in guard blowback. Like I said before, if they're in a corner, you have them in the corner, use guard blowback against their ass to keep it in the corner. I like to use guard blowback a lot with Geese because he has an insane fast run speed. I can guard blowback you at this side of the screen, I can run up, I can run your ass into the corner, and I still meet you, right? Full screen might not be able to do that. Full screen, a lot of characters can't do that. Even at the same distance, a lot of characters can't do what Geese can off of a guard blowback, you know? Or guard cancel roll, you know? Just use the bar for whatever, right? If you end the match, you kill a character, and then your meter is full, you're doing something wrong. It doesn't matter if you're winning. Yeah. You're doing something wrong, and you can bet that I'm out there judging you, right? You should feel bad that I'm judging you, right?
It's kind of like, it's basically, even if you are winning, like you could have closed the match like way sooner,
or had more life after.
Yeah, like, you could have finished the match sooner, like decrease your chance of losing your health.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, obviously, like, if you just go for a 0-bar combo or a 1-bar combo when you're fully stocked, it's like, I mean, you're basically giving your opponent a chance to catch it.
Yeah, exactly. And by using the bar, you prevent a possible comeback.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than saving the bar for a character, because you want to save the bar, but they're almost dead. You're like, okay, I'll just hit them one more time. They're dead, right? There's nothing worse than sparing the character and then eating it. Later, right? How many times does that happen in just these sessions?
I know, it happened to me a good amount of times as well.
That happened to me when Phil made that comeback with Mumu against my Maxima.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So like, see, like, a lot of shit can happen.
Yeah, I do recall it when I was using my Kukri, and I had the corner, I decided to go for 1-bar combo to reset, and then I just ate shit afterwards.
Basically, right?
Like when I could have used the 2 bars, like, basically, I forgot who was playing against, but I just know this happened. Like, basically put him like in a couple hits away to pick up the round.
Yeah, basically, you regret it and stuff. Yeah, and then this is King of Fires. You have 5 fucking bars, multiple super meters. The bar will come to you naturally. You know, it doesn't.
That goes back to how, like, you gain a bar if you lose a character.
That too, yeah. Phil was making a great point earlier that you gain bar really easily in this game. So, just go ahead and spend it. You know. All right, so that's it with the general notes, universal notes, and stuff like that. So next up, I'll be talking about Wilson. He's not here yet, but I feel it's important to improve his gameplay.
Right.
So you two can add it in whenever you want, but I feel like the overarching for these notes is that it's a fight against himself.
Yeah.
It's a fight against his instincts, right?
Yeah.
It's hard coded and it needs to be redone. The code needs to be redone.
Right.
So first thing, too much commitment. So if I know it's like when Wilson he knocks somebody down, you'll expect a single outcome, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So then when somebody
5 outcomes mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So when he does something, when I do something else, he's like, oh man, I wasn't expecting you to do that. But that's the thing. You have to expect all the outcomes. You can't expect, just one outcome. It's kind of like, basically a resum of what I was saying earlier.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, Wilson, the solution is just, be prepared for any outcomes and aware too. Like if they have a reversal option for Gangnil, obviously your prediction options would decrease. It's easier for you to keep them, like pressure them on wake up.
Actually, I kind of want to add like to go. I feel like this falls in place with what you just said, because he's always committed in whatever he's doing. There's only one path in whatever way he's going. I feel like kind of like what you were saying earlier, like it's just better to just throw pokes out, not even looking for an actual combo. Because most of the time, all his block strings, he tries to lead it into a combo. He's not looking for confirms. He's not looking for that hit confirm.
I see. Right, so that's very interesting. Yeah.
So I feel like he should just kind of throw normals out. Like, well, obviously throw normals that's like in his face, in his favor, and all that.
That you can confirm off of too.
Yeah. That you can confirm off. Well, not always, but I mean, obviously that's the next step, learning how to confirm off of that. But yeah, that's kind of what I noticed with him too. Like he, kind of going on with what you said. He just commits to everything he does. So.
Yeah, that's true. And then I want to add on to it. It's not just on the opponent's wake up, on his own wake up too.
Like, oh yeah, that's true.
Like, sorry, Wilson's not nothing bad. I'm sure you don't really mind, but like for example, really committed to the reversals, right? That's something Wilson's known for, is hard cold reversals, right?
Yeah.
And then I feel like you just gotta buffer it, and then you gotta see immediately what they're gonna do on your wake up. Like any kind of movement, if it's a jump, that's an easy kind of reversal decision, right? If they're running up, that's tricky. You don't know if they're gonna stop or anything like that. So a lot of times I would just not do it. Just don't do the reversal, right? Because you're putting yourself at so much risk. It could whiff, it could not make it out in time. They could be baited, they could roll back, because all you're doing is you're risking a chance to get them off of you for like 1 second, for like what? Less than 100 damage maybe, right?
Yeah.
But then you're risking like 300, 400, 500 damage on you.
High risk, low reward.
It's definitely not worth it. I would rather eat 3 normals being outplayed at the ground than to eat a full combo, right? So yeah, there's there's that to it. And then I'll get on to the commitment part later, because it has part to do with the movement stuff. Alright. Next part is kind of Wilson knows this more than anyone else, but it's the execution. But there's more than just ordinary execution problem. There's like muscle memory that's causing him to kind of like blank out, right? So again, when you start a combo, you gotta have the intent. What combo am I gonna use? How much bar am I gonna spend? How much is needed to kill a character, and then based on that, the rest should be automatic,
Kind of goes along with what we said earlier, knowing a 0 bar, knowing a 1 bar, and knowing a 2 bar combo.
Definitely. And then any corner variations, of course, mix-up variations.
Definitely corner variations.
Yeah, and one thing I would advise Wilson on is the buttonhole technique. I don't think you and Wilson use it a lot in your combo executions.
I don't. Which character did I try for? I think the only character I really done it for was Kim, but even then, Kim's not one of my main characters. So aside from that, I haven't really done it too much. Honestly.
I see, but yeah, because King of Fire combos, it's about doing the right juggles. It's being always be able to time it, but then you don't have to wait for a specific time to input the special. You just input the special, and you just hold it. I mean, I know Wilson knows the concept already, but I feel like you need to
practice.
Go into training mode, use it, and not only use it, but do it in every single combo that he's ever done. Every single combo that's under his BMB set. Like, there's practicing the combo, and then there's practicing using the button hold. And then, because I know he's not used to it yet, right? So the solution is keep using it, right, until it becomes integral to your gameplay. Because it's integral to my gameplay and Gordon's gameplay. That's why, we don't see a lot of drops from us unless we're doing something like above our execution level.
That's
Gordon,
That's true. Gordon's execution is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Despite his late, not so good neutral gameplay, although it is improving as of late. So
yeah.
I'll give you that.
Another thing, use a lot of lights into confirms, right? Especially if you're at a distance, Wilson, you're doing a jump in, always do 2 lights, right?
Yeah, we keep telling him that, but he's still...
Right, but here's how I can help him. Like, set the character dummy on random guard, right? So then, and then be able to confirm off of 2 hits. So right there I can react to it, right? Because I can react to this. And then, you know, the guard random is, you know, definitely it's not 50-50, right? They could block it 100% like, you know, 3 times in a row or get hit 3 times in a row. But I really think it's important to just be able to do 2 hits and then have your trigger finger ready on the quick max button and then just be able to react to it. And then just do this over and over again so many times, right? Until you're able to just react to it. You know, you get like a very low mistake rate in terms of like confirming it at the right time, right? And, you know, start off with 3, you know, and then after that, do it 2, you know. Just 2 hits. It's really important to do that because when a lot of situations where there's going to be a lot of situations in tournament play where you're only going to get those 2 hits, right? Because you might catch them, you might do a run up and do this, right? Or you're trip guarding them.
But you're too far for that 3rd hit.
Yeah, you're too far for that 3rd hit. So, you know, that's something that really needs to be practiced.
Yeah, and then practice on both sides.
Yes, definitely practice on both sides.
Yeah. Then kind of go back to what you said earlier. Practicing on both sides. Try to challenge yourself. Try to get it like consecutively for X amount of times. You know?
Exactly. All right. Next up, a lot less button mashing. You know, Wilson.
That's kind of what he resorts to instead of
right
button hold technique.
Right, and it goes part to like the commitment thing, right? Because if you're doing a lot of mashing, but then you're not converting off of it, right? Then it serves no purpose, right? You're just mashing, but it doesn't lead to anything, right? In Blaze Blue, it can lead to anything. You just combo into B and C, and then, you know, you got your Magic series, right? King of Fire is a lot more difficult, especially, you know, if you're not ready to convert into a quick max. So just press a lot less buttons, especially during block strings. You know, especially during block strings. Just focus more on what they're doing and don't worry about what your position is at. Because, you know, you should be able to react to this hop-ins and things like that. Alright, next up, coordinating grabs and overheads better.
He's really predictable with his...
Yes.
When he's on the offensive, it's really predictable.
Right, because the most common stuff would be jump in into overhead, right? Yeah. Or jump in short into overhead, right? And like it needs to come out of nowhere, right? Like the only unpredictable one where he does a fucking anti-jump into overhead, right? Like I'm just like committed to blocking at that point, you know what I mean? And I'm like I don't feel the short or a jump in, it's just the overhead. But obviously that's not going to work in every situation, especially against people like Philip who are teching a lot of times, or Gordon who does a lot of like crouching normals, you know. So I mean, like that works, but then I mean it needs to be a lot less predictable. In fact, I would use it a lot less and mix it up with run up.
That's kind of what after sessions last week me and Gordon were telling Wilson. It's like, dude, you just need to, like, you're going for it so much that you're training the opponent that you're gonna go high.
Yeah.
Like, it's usually the opposite way around, man. You just go for your, you know, your block screen, go for your short, you know.
Yeah.
And then maybe like once or twice in that match, then like throw it out. Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2 times at most throw it out in that match, because otherwise you become way too predictable. So.
Yes, definitely. So there's that. Alright, next up, the movement part. So there's way too many backdashes. Most of these are out of habit. Most of these are, you know, mental commitment.
Accidental.
Yeah, some of these are accidental open fireballs, right? But a lot of these is mental commitment. Like, it's terrible for positioning. It enables the opponent to have the offensive. And it prevents you from being in a proper position to punish opponents, right? Because a lot of times, like, he'll do something and then backdash, but then they do a reversal, right? And he's too far to do a punish. And it's because of the backdash.
Actually, I noticed he does that a lot too.
Yeah.
It's kind of... it's like he would go on his offensive, he'll backdash, and then he'll try to jump in and do the same thing.
Yeah,
and
you
backdash. But as soon as you backdash, you kind of lose your ground.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you're giving your opponent some space to breathe.
Yeah, so the solution for this is you need to restrict your backdashes. Only backdash with a purpose. Like for me, I do it on wake up, right? Because it's like it'll dodge anything. It doesn't matter if you're doing an overhead, meaty, whatever. I'm gonna bounce out of it, you know. Avoiding mix-ups, you know. If like Nelson, right? I'll just backdash out of it. I don't really have to worry about that shit, you know. Or with the pressuring you with buttons, right? Like if, for example, like I know Terry's power charge is positive, so I'm just gonna backdash after I block the power charge. Situations like that, right? Those are intended backdashes. I'm not just doing it just for whatever reason, right? I was starting to do backdashes strategically in the last session. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'll do pressure, and then I'll back off, right? And then once I back off, it's baiting you guys to move forward because it's like, oh, I have some breathing space, right? But then immediately I hop forward, right? And when I do that, I'm gonna beat up your run up short and attempt to trick guard me, or any jump attempts, right? Because you're in the corner, I'm jumping in, my arc is superior to yours, right? So no matter what you're doing, you're almost gonna 90% lose to it. Right, that's the purpose of my backdash, right? Because I'm following up with a hop, right? A hyper hop, you know. So it proves successful, you know, very successful.
I don't know that.
All right, another thing about movement. I know Wilson already knows this too, but too much jumping, right?
Yeah.
Jumping leaves you susceptible to a lot of things, right? It's easy for King to do Farsi anti-air, right? Philip can do trip guard, right? Or I could do a DP, you know. And a lot of it's because he's eager to do a jump in, into overhead, into something, into a block string, right? Because he feels like, you know, he's being beaten out by us on the ground, so he has to jump, right? That's the inclination I feel.
Then there was that one game session where he was facing you, and I was like, "Dude, stop jumping!" And then, but he's like, "But he's beating me or whatever," and then I was like. That's because he's fucking conditioning you, fool. Like, he's conditioning you to jump, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think after that, he finally at least realized and stopped jumping a little bit more for the remainder of that match. But then, you know, it's already too late. Yeah, but then it was too late,
Yeah, but that's a good point, because at that point when he jumped less, he was losing. Like, he's still losing, but it took longer for me to beat him.
Yeah.
Right? If he kept it up, if we played like 100 matches in a row, I think it would kind of even out a little bit more.
Right.
You know? But yeah, so my solution is stay grounded as much as possible, because the person who controls the ground controls the game. It doesn't matter if King of Fighters have 9 different jump arcs or whatever, right? Because the ground is still the king of the game, right? And like, you control the ground, you just have so much options. Like Ralph's 4D, you know, like I just throw it out generously. It'll catch you out of your jumps and things like that.
Or you just kind of make it more general sense. It's like, where the fuck do your combos generate from? The ground.
Exactly. Yeah, that too.
Just like a general sense.
Yeah. So I feel like you know, practice. Figure out what you need to do in neutral with your characters, right? Like Terry, I need to see a lot more 4Ds, right? I need with who's another character? Kenzo. I need to see a lot more sweeps.
Rock,
right? Rock, yeah, definitely needs to see a lot more 4Ds, right? A lot less these buttons, right? The 4C, which is punishable, right? If you're gonna jump, do hops instead, right? Because it's harder for them to punish a hop, right? It's harder for them to anti-air. It's harder for them to trip guard, right? Because jumps, oftentimes he's over jumping, right? Hops, you might get the surprise, you know, overhead into a full combo, right? So I know hops is difficult for Wilson to do. You know, sometimes it's inconsistent, right? I know some characters he does it consistently, some characters it doesn't. So I would practice hops like your executions. Do it 100 times in a row on each side, right? Forward hops, hyper hops, right? Whichever hops is best for your character. Do it multiple times in a row. Do like 3 hops in a row like this, right? 4 hops too, you know? Keep doing it until you can do it like 10 times in a row, right? With each of your characters, not just one character, because it's different for each character.
Obviously, because each character has certain buttons they need to press in the air. It's not all the same.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, definitely not all the same. So the timing's different too, you know. All right. Last part, we're almost done, Wilson. Miscellaneous stuff. The air-to-airs, I feel like he has a wrong idea of how air to airs work, right? So for me, if I were to explain air to airs, it's not about the button being used, believe it or not, right? It's how early you press it and the trajectory of the jump. Yes, there are some cases where the button matters, like Rock's jumping B, Kula's jumping B, King's jumping B, right? But the rest of it is the arc and the trajectory of the jump. For me, there's two kinds of jumps, right? Two kinds of jump timing, right? One jump timing is when I'm jumping on your opponent and doing a normal, right? So this is gonna hit the opponent, but it's gonna whiff on a character who's already in the air, right? The other one's obviously air to air, so that's obviously gonna whiff against a character on the ground, but it will work on a character who's in the air, right? Fundamentally, those are the two different kind of jump timing in terms of normals, right? Obviously, if you're intending to hit a character on the ground, it's gonna get beaten 100% of the time by someone who's already in the air, jumping and pressing a button earlier than you, right? Second, jump arcs. So neutral jumps will be a forward jump most of the time, right? So, and the reason that is because we're jumping forward, I'm jumping neutral, I'm higher than you, right? So let me do a forward jump, right? See, I'm higher than you, so my normal is angled more like favorably in my normal is more in my favor in terms of the angle, right? Whereas the other person's normal, like, it's not as favorable. That's why things like, even if it hits downward, like Kula's C, or like, you know, what's another character with good downward angle, like Ralph, right?
I would say Nelson's jump C.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why Phil uses that jump C a lot. That arc is just favorable. His jump in timing is impeccable with Nelson.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So
actually, that kind of, just to backtrack a little bit, that kind of goes back with like when I'm using Kuria, I wouldn't freaking jump in with a B, because his B's kick straight up.
Yeah, definitely.
So that kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, but
and if you wanna, if you're doing an air to air with the purpose of, you know, hitting them out of the air, I would do a neutral jump. Just do a neutral jump, because you're safe if they don't jump forward. They're not gonna do anything, right? They can't trip guard you because they're probably like away from you, right? If they're jumping towards you, then they're gonna run into your normal no matter what. So that's something that can, you know, keep in mind. We'll see. All right, last part. Using EX moves when you're in EX mode. I feel like Wilson has a high tendency during max mode to throw out EX moves, right?
Yeah.
And that adds to the predictability and therefore it makes it very punishable. Like for example, EX crack shoot. Just don't do it, right? It's not overhead like in 13. It's not advantageous. It's actually punishable, you know?
Yeah. If anything, I want to say just store up. I mean, not sort of, like, just kind of hang on to it, like, to let your opponent know that you at least have it, and you could use it, but then you don't always have to use it.
Exactly. So if you're dropping a combo and you're still in max mode, like Philip said, don't spend it to complete the combo that you already dropped, right? Because that's a strong tendency for players. They drop the combo, they kind of go back to the part where they left off in the combo, right?
Yeah.
So instead, leverage it as pressure. You know, but you're doing something else. Just leverage it as pressure. Like, oh shit, they're flashing. They got more options and all that shit, right? But then you're not doing any of the shit that their opponent expecting you to do. So that gives you pressure, right? Yeah. Free pressure. You don't have to. Your gameplay doesn't have to be any better than them, right?
Because then now they're looking out for a possible invincible move because of the EX. So they're gonna play a little bit more cautious, and you know they want to get around it, wait out time for it.
Exactly.
And then I mean, with you knowing that, why would you just kind of start throwing your shit out?
Exactly. Like with Rock, for example. Rock's a great example, right? Because EX hard edge, you know, this one, like he'll do that a lot just to get that juggle, right? But it's punishable on block. I just have to block, it's punishable. But Rock, in max mode, is so good. He's so scary, right? Because he's got EX counter. This is active on the first frame. Now it's another wake up option besides rising tackle, right? What else does he have? He has a command grab, right? This is invincible, right? I could do this, run up. It doesn't matter if you're teching or any of that bullshit. This is invincible. You gotta lose to it, right? So.
And you also have that running dunk.
Oh yeah, definitely the running dunk. You know, it's additional overhead, and you know you get options off of it. You know, so that's an example. You know, of you utilizing max mode better. Alright, so that's it with Wilson. You guys want to add anything before I move on to Gordon?
I feel like I kind of added things like while you're going already. Yeah. So
sounds good.
Any input from you, Gordon?
I'm pretty sure Sonny was pretty thorough with his analysis on Wilson.
Okay.
Definitely saw more than I did.
Alright.
Everyone sees more than you do.
I know, man. That's
oh, you know what you know what you didn't see more than me last week?
Okay.
Alright, so
right, I'm just gonna be silent. I'm gonna listen.
I mean, you could try to say something, and then I'll just refute you. You know, it helps. You know, don't be shy.
Yeah. I mean, say what you're thinking, because then now, I mean, something could be correct or something. If it sounds a little off, we could try to correct you. And,
Yeah.
Although I feel like it's not too right now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Gordon. So, what are your problems? Excuses.
What?
All right. So first of all, I'm gonna say that all the problems I'm gonna be pointing out to you might not be consistent with your last performance, which is good. But that's the thing. Your performance might not be good every single time. So I'm still gonna say it anyways, right?
Okay.
So going back to excuses, like a lot of times I hear you say like, "Oh, but I did this or that." It doesn't come out, right? So when it happens way too often, right? For it to be the game's fault, right? Like Heinz hit confirms, right? Yeah, come on, why am I getting crouching C to EXEO spending shit, right? So by saying this, you're not taking responsibility for your flaws, right? You're blaming the game, and this prevents you from getting better, right? Every time I get hit, I think about why the hell did I get hit, all right? And I improve on that. I prevent it from happening. Every time I get a hit in, I think about, okay, what did I do right, right? And then I replicate that success, right? So if you make excuses, you're not doing that. You're just repeating your same mistakes. So solution, man up. If you make a mistake, shake it off and just make do with what you can. Just don't mind that you made a mistake. Who cares? Keep moving. You know, it's like Erwin getting his arm eaten off. He's like, go, keep charging, keep going. You know what I mean?
Actually, I feel like that kind of applies to Wilson as well.
Oh yeah.
So like usually when he doesn't get something that he wants, he just kind of blames it on that, or he focuses on that,
right?
Instead of like continuously moving with the flow of the match.
Yeah, exactly.
He slows himself down because it's like, what the fuck,
right?
And then he goes back in, which is like, I feel like mentally that you just slow yourself down.
Yeah, definitely. That's meter usage. I know you were actually good on your meter usage last time, but I need to drill this on you because we all know you have a 10 times learning curve, right? So like, how long has the game been out? Like fucking, it's almost July, almost a year now, and your Maxima is actually finally good.
I know, it took you a while.
Right?
It took you a while, bro.
It took you a while, man. Like mine was good the first month, right? So meter usage, right? So you're not doing a lot of guard cancel options, right? You're relying too much on your blocking, right? And you take unnecessary chip for it, right? This works for a fraction of time, right? But in reality, you're risking a lot, right? Because you're going to be playing different players at the tournament, and they're going to be using different mix-ups you're not used to, and you're going to get hit because you think you're hot shit trying to block too much, right?
Okay.
So you need to use this guard blowback when you want to keep them in the corner, for example. It's kind of like what I was saying before. I definitely use guard cancel rolls to punish block string pressures, right? Because me and Philip, we use guard cancel rolls. I've been using it more recently, you know, but you two, Wilson and Gordon, need to use guard cancel rolls.
I've used it, but I don't have it as high as a success rate as
I see.
Or at least that's what I feel like.
That's true. I feel like Philip uses it more to escape than to punish.
Yeah.
I've been using it mostly as an intent to punish.
Yeah. I should probably change my mindset on that.
Yeah, definitely. And secondly, always use your bar. You'll always spend to kill, right? It doesn't matter if you're ahead, doesn't matter if you're behind, doesn't matter if you're an on-point character and they're on the last character, right? Just always spend the bar to kill, because if you end the round, you have full meter, like I said before, you're doing something wrong, right? Because that means that you could have ended the situation sooner, you could have prevented a potential comeback, you know? You've held on to the bar, but at what potential cost, you know? Alright, next, overextending yourself, Gordon. Again, you know, lately this hasn't been a problem, but you know, for the sake of consistency.
Okay.
I know sometimes you do combos that you can't land consistently. You know, remember what I said earlier. Being optimal isn't always about maximizing your damage. It's getting a combo that you're always able to land, right? As long as it doesn't suck, as long as it's not a shitty combo, the damage will be there. You don't have to worry about that. And sometimes the position matters more too. Like, at the end of the combo, what's your outcome? What are you gonna do? You're gonna do a mix-up, things like that. But then with Hein, I feel like you should do a lot less mix-up if you have the 2 bars, and you should just do the super. You should just do the super, right? Because, I mean, like, if you're gonna do that mix-up, eventually it's not gonna work anymore. Right now, we're not used to, blocking that, right? But eventually, it's just gonna become invalid, right? And then you're gonna waste a bar, and you're gonna be in max mode. You're gonna be stuck doing here, and you could have missed out on that 500 damage. You know what I mean? So use a lot less of that mix-up. Your other mix-up's good when you're doing short jab, immediate mix-up into EX dive. That was good.
Yeah.
Use that kind of mix-up, right? Because that's a lot less predictable than the other one. All right, let's see what else. With this character specific, going in with King when you have the lead, right? This game,
yeah.
Remember what I said earlier at the beginning of this lecture, Gordon. This game is about doing damage and reducing your own, right? It doesn't
limiting the amount you take.
Limiting the amount you take. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to beat the other opponent, as long as you beat them, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it works. If it takes longer for you to beat the character by zoning them out, that's better than you going in, taking 50%, or losing them the round.
Yeah, which you're completely guilty of with King.
Yeah,
it's like there's a lot of times where like even Wilson and like all of us just say like, dude, what the hell? Just stay back. Play the lane game. Like you have the life lead, so there's no real reason for you to rush in.
Yeah.
Especially with King, like she has great control on max distance, mid screen. She's pretty good in close. Close combat.
Yeah.
Like she's good in all ranges. So I mean.
Yeah.
So if you have like a big lead like that, then just sit on it, let your opponent hang themselves.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you're pretty good in utilizing her anti-air normals already. So,
yeah.
And you're pretty good with air-to-airs.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you have that lead already, like I don't see a point. You don't necessarily have to go in too hard.
Yeah. So that's one thing, Gordon. That's one thing. With King, okay. With other characters, it's okay to go in.
Yeah.
Especially with Hein, who has no projectiles. All right. Next, knowledge and need to know shit. Okay. You're too surprised by things that's like should be common knowledge, like Nakaru's climax. Right?
Oh, yeah. Coming back for you.
Yeah.
Twice.
See, you need to study. One of the general notes I was talking about earlier. Study everyone in training mode. Right? Like I said before, you don't need to know the combos. Just know the properties and the moves. Just be aware of it. Right?
It's kind of like that for Nagaru. Clark's climax hits high.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that still or not.
Probably would have forgotten about it.
I actually didn't know.
Yeah, see, he didn't know it. He did not know, even though, like, I've been using Clark for how long now?
It was mentioned too.
And I'm pretty sure I did mention it.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, it's things like that, because that can make a huge difference. Like Nakaru, you wouldn't have lost, if you knew.
It, you could have punched it.
Yep. Alright, Gordon, next, consistency. So, you know this is a problem more than anyone. Even if you're being on a streak, it doesn't count if you can't repeat your success the next time, right? You need to maintain, like, the quality of your gameplay, right? And the big part of that, the solution for that is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Stick to what you've been doing, and don't add any new elements to your gameplay until something changes, until the opponent adapts. That's when you should know, okay, I gotta change something. You gotta change something.
It doesn't even have to be a big change. It could be a small little tweak. Like, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like your block string, I guess. Like, instead of doing short, stand short, you just do short, jab, and that's it. Or it's just something that's small. Could just just kind of throw them off. They're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
And it's still at the same time, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
The next point is also a really big Gordon problem. It's finishing the round, right? Because a lot of the times, You have the inability to close out a round in situations. It doesn't have anything. Sometimes it has to do with not spending the bar, but other times is you have that close situation. It could go either way, but then you crumble really easily, right? Like you just need to finish the round, whatever it takes. Okay, having more life with character matters more than having meter, for example, right? So if you could just spend the meter, just go ahead and do it. And people say things like, "Oh, but I have to face their anchor to come out with 5 bars." But it's like, who fucking cares? The character, your opponent, and their character will have bar no matter what, right?
And even if stress this enough. If you lose a character, you get fucking bar back.
Exactly.
So I mean, even if you lose to like a 2-bar combo. Is their anchor? Let's say you're down a bar. When you come back, you have 2 bars. You're able to do just as much damage.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. All right. Next up, going to the last part. This is your worst problem, actually. It is the worst problem, the biggest problem. Okay. Really? Analysis. Okay.
Oh,
your biggest problem is self-analysis and analyzing other people.
Yes.
Right. Like I was saying before, if you won, why did you win? And if you lost, why did you lose, right? Because a lot of times I asked you this in previous sessions. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, But that's a problem, I asked Wilson and Philip. They can answer me, If I were to ask them the same question, they can answer me, So you need to pay attention to what worked and what didn't work, right? You can go back to your past sessions and be like, okay, what was I doing right,
It's like you're almost like an advanced autopilot.
Yeah, exactly. Advanced autopilot on Gordon's part, right? So pay attention to the circumstances that allowed you, to win in the first place. And if you lost, pay attention to the circumstances where your opponent was able to land a hit on you, right?
Yeah, whether it's like, oh, I should have spent that bar.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't have spent that bar.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Like, for example, there were sessions on Philip's good days where I lost, and I was like, what the fuck, right? And a lot of times he was teching, right? And he was trip guarding a lot. And I was There's a combination of him being able to trip guard successfully and me, jumping too much, right? And I made that adaptation, and you don't really see that mistake from me against Philip a lot of the times, right? So you need to be able to constantly adapt. It doesn't matter if it's against me or Philip or Wilson. It's just in general, right? Because the more you can do this, the faster you'll be able to do it in an actual match, right? Because one set, you could lose to a player that's like not even as skilled as you in a set.
It's just they're doing random shit, and then you're not paying attention to what they're doing.
Exactly.
And then you didn't process fast enough to change up what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, you're on tournament life.
Yeah, and then the other time you said that Geese player was better than my Geese, like, what? You only lost because you've never played the guy before. But if you played him 100 times in a row, I guarantee you that you'd be like, oh, you know what? Sonny's Geese is way better than this. Because how long have you been playing against me? Almost a year, right? What's your win rate right now? Still like fucking almost 0%, right? Right? You would think after playing me 100 times that you would close the gap.
Better ratio.
Exactly, right? You play this guy, obviously the win ratio could be anywhere, It's just like, you just lost it was one match. It wasn't even a set, right? Was that a set?
It was like 2 games.
2 games, and you lost both of them, right? Right. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. You could lose that set because of your lack of analysis, right? If I was there coaching you, you would have won. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. All right, so that's it on Gordon. I don't know if you have anything to add, Philip.
Actually no. Like I didn't think of too much, but then you did pick on some good points with that.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So. Cool. All right. We'll see if you have anything to add on Gordon. Feel free to add in the comments on the Facebook chat. Alright, last up, Philip. There's only like one thing or 2 things at most I could think of.
Okay.
Basically, you need more mix-ups.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you noticed already.
Yeah.
Like Clark, Mui, what do they have? They both have a fucking overhead, right?
Yeah.
What do I see you use?
Almost never. I go for shorts almost all the time.
Yeah, shorts for almost all the time, right?
Like, I rarely. It's kind of like I took my advice to Wilson to the extreme.
But the opposite.
Yeah, like, because then I tell him like maybe once or twice overhead in the round. I probably do it once or twice out of a 2 out of 3 match.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to see it at least once per character per round, at least once.
Okay.
Right.
At least
in fact, I don't care how generous you do it, as long as it's out there. Because for me, it's fucking scary if a guy keeps doing it a lot, right? And they're a high level player, and they're like, oh shit, now they're going to shorts. So that becomes a scary situation where I'm just like doing this now, right? I'm not really trying to react. I'm like in a panic mode, you know?
All right. I'll try.
Definitely need more mix-ups. Generally, though, everything else is right. Your footsies, your combos, your conversions, you know, all that good shit. Your blocking. Alright, another part is this is a sometimes kind of thing, and it depends. But finishing them off.
Okay.
Because I feel like the problem with Gordon finishing off and Wilson finishing off is different than you finishing off, right? When it comes to them, it's just like scrubbery scrub habits come out.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Okay.
With you, it's a science between the opponent gaining momentum and you crumbling to the momentum, right? Because then when they get the momentum, you're like, oh shit, I gotta prevent the comeback.
That's true.
And then a panic attack happens, sort of, and then like you become like extremely defensive, right?
That's true.
And my solution is just block, stand your ground, and then roll a lot more, right? Because you roll a lot more, it's very difficult for them to kind of like to react to it, right? Because rolls in this game, honestly, there's not a lot of players that could react to rolls and punish it, right?
Right.
So do a lot of rollaways, guard cancel rolls, guard cancel blowbacks, and things like that. Reset the situation, just like, you know, be like, okay, you know what? I don't have to let them take 90% of my life.
As we all know, it's happened, especially to you. When I had the match already wrapped, but then somehow I just cracked under the pixel health, and you know that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's about it. That's the lecture for today.
Okay.
To help you guys practice and shit.
I'll take everything into consideration.
Alright, cool. Make sure to review the tutorial.
I will. Any words from me, Gordon? Or do you have any?
I don't think I'm in any place to be giving you advice.
Well, you know, it doesn't matter.
If you think of something, I can refute it or something, because that helps you learn too.
I'm open ears here, so. Or like,
I really can't think of anything Sonny hasn't covered.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Alright, so in other words, you just shut up.
Okay. Alright,
cool. I guess that's it.
Alright.
Should we do some matches, or you want to go eat?
How are you guys? Are you guys kind of hungry? You guys want to wait a little while?
I'm pretty hungry, actually.
Yeah. Gordon? Yeah, okay.
So my friends left comments in the chat, so I don't know how you can check.
That's cool. I'll check it in the archives.
Oh, you can check the archives, right?
Yeah, I did notice that too. Actually, it was like more than one.
Yeah.
Those faggots.
Hello, Gordon's friends.
Yeah, Gordon's going to evil, but he ain't coming back a champion.
Oh! Yeah, because I'm gonna get fucked up on the last day.
But in our training camp.
Yes.
I would say they didn't say how much are in KoF tournament, right?
No. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be 250 or less.
Really?
Players.
I would say we for sure top 100. Top 100. That's doable, right?
For us?
Yeah.
No, top 16.
Okay, see, look at that. I was being generous to include Gordon.
What the fuck? Excuse me?
Okay, we want to include me, Gordon, Wilson, right?
Top 100.
Top 100.
That's basically making it through the first round.
Yeah.
Basically making it through the first round.
Right, and if Gordon played the way he did last session, definitely maybe top 16.
All right.
16.
I agree.
16.
I agree. You're on a good path right now. You just got to stay on it.
But then me and Phil, that'll be top 8. Definitely top 8. It depends on how many Chinese players there are. If Shanghai's there, that could be a problem. If ET's there, that could be a problem. If their buddies are also there, okay, top 16 probably.
Yeah.
Right. But then again, it depends. Like I feel like between me, Philip, and the Chinese players, it's a toss-up. You know?
Then not only that, it just kind of goes back to how fast he could download the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
My worst point.
Exactly, and Gordon has that problem. Me and Philip don't really have that problem. I think one of Philip's strongest suit is that universally his gameplay will work on all players.
Yes.
Like universally it's just gonna work. That's fundamentals in his favor. Gordon, on the other hand, I feel it's a mix. It's more of like a rock paper scissors or a matchup. Like some characters will get blown up, some players will not get blown up. You know. Yeah. And then same thing with Wilson. Some players will get blown up and some players won't. Yeah.
I think. Well, actually, how was your training? Did you guys ever do the training session? You guys never did it.
Or he told me he's gonna well, he did say maybe, but I was kind of expecting him to come, but he didn't.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to do before hit confirms. Okay, so easy way to hit confirm, right? You do whatever your hit confirm is, short, right? And then you press the max button. You press the max button twice.
Huh.
Right? Because look at the input, right? It's light punch, hard punch. You press the two buttons at the same time, the stronger version, whatever the button, will come out over the light version, right? Same thing with like between kicks and punches. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a blowback. Never mind. But whatever. So whatever hit confirm, you just because a lot of times I see a draw combo between the hit confirm and the normal that's supposed to follow after it, right? So if you just press X mode twice, that's guaranteed. The only time it will not connect is if your character is too far. Like if I added 4 hits, or if I'm too far away, like at this distance, like that it wouldn't work. So obviously, but for example, that's what I do with Nakaruru a lot of times.
That's a little trick, tip.
Yeah, because for me, I feel like I have to do it with Nakaruru.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because then I'm always comboing into the crouching C, right? It's really difficult to input crouching C this into my normal or whatever. So,
for me, I don't think I'll be able to do that just because I'm already used to it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I already kind of know my timing for. At least for my character.
Yeah, Philip doesn't need to do it. I don't need to do it. I feel like it's more of a thing for like Wilson and other kind of players who are new to the game. Because like, oh shit, how do I do that kind of link? But just press the max button twice. It's an easy version of doing it. Yeah. All right. So that's it. We're gonna go ahead and go out and eat.
We'll get some food. We'll come back, have some actual games, and we'll apply the newfound knowledge presented by Sonny. Thank you, sir. Sir.
Even a handshake.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. So sign up for respect.
Yeah. All right.
What if you guys feel like eating? That's kind of Blaze.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say Blaze too.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
I was kind of thinking of trying a new setup.
Oh, okay.
On my pizza.
Okay.
With
cool.
Like basically only one type of cheese, which is the ovally, which means it's not gonna be all